Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be testing objects for properties. Sometimes it's useful to check if the property of a given object exists or not. We can use the has-own property in the prop name method of objects to determine if that object has the given property name has-own property returns true or false if the property is found or not. So in this one, my object, we set up an object with keys of top and bottom. And if we say, does it have the property of top? Well, it does. It's right here. So it returns true. Does it have the property of middle? Well, it doesn't. Neither of these say middle, so it returns false. So we want to modify the function of the check object. So we're going to modify this function to test my object, which is this object here, gift pet bed, for check prop. And the check prop is the variable that's being passed in. So the check prop is a gift here. If the property is found, return that return that property's value. If not, return not found. Okay, so what I think we should do here is we should just start off by console logging the check object and throwing in gift. Now we can see change me is what's coming out because I'm console logging here, so it's coming here. Change me, if I put another exclamation point in there, should double. So this is the function. It's running through here, and right now my object is never even called, so it's almost unimportant. Now let's first just make a variable for an answer, and then pass in the answer, blank answer. Right? And now if we were to type in answer, here, our console log would come out blank answer. So we're passing in a variable of an answer. And now we can modify this variable based on what? This has-own property, right? So we can say my object, so we're calling this object dot has-own property. And then we're passing in the check prop. Now, this we want to say is an if statement, right? If, I'm just making this into an if statement. If the check object has the property that's being passed in, which is gift, in this case, it's true, we want to make the answer is equal to, we set the answer variable equal to my object, and then I'll use bracket notations here, and I'm going to say the check prop. Great, so right now we're passing in gift to the answer. We're passing in gift to this function. It's rendering out here. It's asking if it has that property, which it does. Then it sets that property to the answer, and then the answer reads out here. And now if we can run the code now and see if it passes this test and this test. However, we haven't done anything for passing this test yet. So let's run the test. Cool. So right now you can see it's passing the first two tests, and the third test it's failing. Why is that? Well, if we go check object, and then we bring that over to here, and we console log out house, we can see the answer is coming out to blank answer. So we don't want it to just be blank answer. We can do an else statement, and then say the answer is equal to not found. And now we get here. Now this would probably work as well. I think this would pass all the tests. But now, you know what? There's an even better way to do this, because instead of saying this else statement, we can just change it so that the default setting for the answer is not found. And then we don't even need this else statement, because this block of code just runs if it has that property. And if you run that, you can see it passes as well. And so this is just an example of passing of refactoring your code. Another thing we can just say Yeah, and so there's a lot of other ways we could refactor this further, but I think that this passes the test in terms of how to do it. A lot of times with coding, there's a lot of ways to do a lot of different things. So if you've had a different way of doing it, that's great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think the tests are passing, so everything's good. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.